Hey, good morning. Hey, I know this is the first time I'm going live this week. It's been a crazy week, let me tell you. And I think, if you're used to watching my channel, a lot of times my lives have to do with things that are actually going on, right? In our lives, like a message that I need, or something that's happened to us. And I'm like, you know what? I think the mamas need this message too. So, what do you do when it all goes wrong? Like, what do you do? I've seen some people that, maybe they're working on somebody's books and they were messier than they thought they were going to be and they're having trouble getting them cleaned up. People whose marketing, isn't working the way they thought it was going to. People who, can't find the time, right, to finish the course or finish their certification or finish up whatever they're working on. Hey, Key, good morning. Your house isn't closing when it's supposed to. What do you do when everything goes wrong? Okay. And I think for a lot of us, there's something that is not going the way we expected. It's really funny. We actually, I had a student I think it's about a week ago, who was saying, my business is growing faster than I thought it was going to. And so now I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I deal with that? Like, how do I deal with success, right? Which is, I think a lot of us are, thinking about failure, right? And what happens if we fail. We also have to deal with what happens if your business takes off, right? And what do you do there? So let's talk a little bit about, what do you do? So I think naturally what happens is our brains go, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to fix this. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never. And like all of the bad things are going crazy, right? And so like this happened to us this week. There's a delay in the closing on our house because there's so many people closing and mortgage companies are changing their requirements. And like literally minute to minute, they're like asking for things that we're like, you've never asked for anything like this before. Like, what are you looking for? And so we were supposed to close today. We actually should have closed on our house by now. And we have no idea when we're closing. We have no idea. And so yesterday we started to come to the realization that, okay, like this is not going to happen today. So what are we going to do? Like what? And, of course you're like, oh my God, it's not going to close it. Oh my God. Right? Or, oh my God, I messed up my client. My client's going to hate me. My client's going to fire me. And they're going to tell the whole world that I'm never getting another client. Oh my God. Right? Right? We all have these moments, right? Or my kid is never going to nap again. And I'm never going to find time to finish this course. And it's just going to be, right? That's what happens with our brains, right? Anybody else? Is this just me? This can't just be me. I know, because I get this in our group, where people like, it's like this freak out train. And it's funny because it's almost like sometimes it's infectious, right? Where one person starts freaking out and another person starts freaking out, and it's like you have to like calm down the whole group. And that's why we have all our live calls in the Empower Bookkeeper Network when you join Bookkeeper Training School. So and Key, I'm really glad that you love this topic because I think this is like so important for so many people. So here's where I start. Okay, so the first thing I do is I just take a deep breath. Okay, I take a deep breath and I say, okay, let me think of one good thing that is going on right now. Because when we get caught up in something going wrong or something going bad, like the first thing our brains do is they just assume doom and gloom and everything's going bad and everything is awful and the world is coming to an end. And so you have to stop that tailspin, okay, of bad thoughts. And so take a deep breath and say, okay, I just want to think of one thing that's going good right now, right? So last night as I'm sitting here going, our house is never going to close, and I'm in Florida, and I'm going to be homeless because my other house is going to sell, and oh my God. Okay, I took a deep breath, and I said, you know what? We are all here together. We are in the motorhome, which is kind of a mess because we've been living in the motorhome longer than we thought we were going to be in the motorhome. But we have the motorhome. Like worst case, like we can boondock for the weekend somewhere. You know, we're by the beach, it's beautiful, we're all together, we have food, we have the car, we have clean clothes, there's laundromats, it's fine. And like my brain, it's funny because once I started doing that, then my brain started going the other direction. My brain was like positive, 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 right? I'm like, okay, there's lots happening for us right now that's good. Okay, so once you can break that negative tailspin, you start to think a lot clearer. Okay, so take a deep breath, think about some things that are going well. Okay, no matter how bad things are, there is something. It's like I'm alive, right? I'm alive. My kid's okay. My husband's okay. You know, we'll figure this out. Okay. And sometimes really when you're tail spinning like that, sometimes your thing, especially if it's related to your business, is, you know what? I know I can figure this out. And maybe that's your thing that gets you to stop. You've got to stop that tailspin because you cannot think rationally while your brain is freaking out. Okay? Take a deep breath. Think of some positive things that are going on. The next step is you need to figure out what is the one next step that needs to occur. Okay? The one next step that needs to occur. So, in our case with the house not closing, I'm like, okay, the next thing that we need to do is we need to figure out, we're supposed to leave where we're staying tonight. We need to figure out if we can stay one more night. Okay, and if we can figure out one more night, then we can figure out more nights after that. But let's just figure out one more night because we're supposed to literally check out this morning. Okay, so let's figure that out. So we call the ranger station. They're like, you know what? You can't stay through the weekend, but you can stay one more night. Awesome. That's great. That gives us more time. Cool. Okay, that gives us some options. Okay, so then the next thing was, okay, is there anything else that the mortgage company needs? Let's go track that down, right? And so when you look at one thing at a time, right, the one next step, so like if your marketing is not working, right, then my one next step would probably be to say, okay, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to write down everything that I'm doing, right? And figure out like, okay, am I posting as much as Kristen says? Am I really working the plan like Kristen says if you're in our group? Am I really doing what she says, or am I kind of sort of doing what she says? Right? Because when I talk to some of you, that's what happens. You say, well, I did some of the things you tell us to do. Like I set up some stuff, but I'm not really active. I'm not really doing the marketing piece. I just kind of threw stuff up there and was hoping like clients would just fly at me. And so a lot of times we can fix that, right? And say, okay, what's the piece you're not doing? Okay, let's start doing that. Okay. If you are, if you mess up something with a client, right? You take a deep breath. You say, okay, I'm grateful that I have this client. I'm grateful that I have this training. I know I have the Empowered Bookkeeper Network that I can ask questions. I know I've got all this video training I can go back to. Okay. All right. Tailspin is stopped. My next step is to go in and figure out, okay, what is one mistake that I can fix? And if I don't know how to fix it, I'm going to go ask the group, right? I'm going to go post in the group, and you can post a screenshot in the group. You can talk us through, but you can go through and you can post, okay? And you can walk us through the problem you're having. It's just about stopping the tailspin so you can think clearly and then pick one thing. Just one. Okay? So this is what I'm doing right now. Today is like the first day I've been back at my desk since last Thursday. Okay? So it's literally been a week since I've been at my desk. And so today I was like, okay, so what is the first thing I need to do? I'm like, I have not done a live on this page in a week. And so I am going to sit down and I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to talk about what's going on with us, right? And how I stopped the fear of everything going wrong. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Hey, remember the 3 steps are just take a deep breath. Think about one thing, at least one thing that is going okay, that is going well, that is not bad. Okay? Because that stops the fear tailspin in your mind, and then figure out the one next thing that you need to do. And if you don't know what the one next thing that you need to do is, You can either post in our free group, the Small Biz Mama Community on Facebook, or if you are in Bookkeeper Training School, go to the Empower Bookkeeper Network, post there, and we will help you figure out what that next step is. All right, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you all, and hopefully we close on this house. If you were the praying type, I will take any prayers that you have, good thoughts, good vibes, whatever you got, and hopefully we are going to close today or tomorrow. All right, take care, mamas. I will talk to you soon. Bye.